And so just like how insulin resistance is unique in PCOS, right? It's selective insulin resistance. Your metabolism is also different in the universe of PCOS. Now you might have heard yourself say, or you might have heard your friends say that, hey, I'm not losing weight because my metabolism is slow. But to really understand and unpack what this statement means, what exactly is metabolism? So when people say that my metabolism is slow, what they mean is that my body is burning lesser calories than it should, even though I'm doing everything right. So I'm eating nice, I'm eating healthy, I'm working out every day, I'm sleeping well, but my metabolism is slow, so I will not burn fat. But to understand metabolism, we need to understand three key concepts: BMR, the thermic effect of food, and NEAT, N-E-A-T, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So let's pick each one and just dive into it. Okay, so BMR is known as your basal metabolic rate. It is also known as your body's maintenance mode. So BMR is basically the minimum number of calories your body will burn at rest if you don't do anything at all, like you just sit around, do nothing at all. These are the minimum number of calories your body will burn just to keep you alive. So just to keep your heart beating, your brain thinking, allow air to go inside your lungs and out of your lungs, right? To keep the blood pumping. And this is 60 to 70% of the total amount of calories your body expends in a day. Now, what happens in the universe of PCOS though is your body burns 400 kilocalories lesser than other women who don't have PCOS. Why? Because biologically, your hormones are not at the same levels. So the hormonal imbalance actually has such wide-reaching effects that your BMR is at a disadvantage too. So you burn 400 calories less. So if your friend's BMR is say 1200, your BMR is likely around 800. And in certain cases, we've seen that women with selective insulin resistance, their BMR might be 700 calories lower. Now moving on to NEAT, which is non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Have you heard of 10K steps? That habit that is so popular. Now 10K steps was devised so that you could boost your NEAT, which is 10 to 20% of your daily calorie expenditure, which basically comes from fidgeting, moving around, going from one room to another, basically, showcasing signs of extra energy. And if you walk 10K steps, between your work day, get up every 30 minutes or so, then you are going to maximize your NEAT, which is your NEAT. But did you know, in the PCOS universe, when your body is in a state of stress, inflammation, digestive distress, where you're like feeling bloated, you're feeling lethargic, you're not going to move that much. So your NEAT, you're never really maximizing your NEAT. So your NEAT percentage goes down as low as 2% or even in some cases 1%. Now NEAT can vary a lot between people. Some people in both universes, normal and in PCOS, we've noticed that people can burn up to 300 or 400 calories a day just by fidgeting and moving around. But if your body resists that, like it does not want to, it's not that active, as a person, it also depends on who you are as a person, right? So if you're somebody who does not like to really leave their desk in general, right? You're going to move around a lot less. And so your NEAT for the day might just be 50 calories. There was a meta-analysis done, which is basically a study of studies, that showcased that when you're on a low-carb diet, your NEAT is at its lowest because the lack of available energy, because you're on a low-carb diet, so not enough carbohydrates, you tend to move a lot less. So when your NEAT reduces, you won't feel spontaneous. You won't feel like just going out for a coffee with your friend. You'll be like, nah, let me just be at home on my bed. I'm too lazy. I don't want to go anywhere. You start feeling that way. So a low-carb diet leads to a slowdown of your metabolism, especially for NEAT. And so along those lines, if we look at the third concept, which is TEF, or thermic effect of food, which is basically the amount of energy that your body burns to digest food, it was found that if you are following a low carb diet, then your thermic effect of food also drops because you're technically under eating, or you're skipping meals. There are not enough calories that you're consuming, there's not enough volume that you're consuming for your body to burn it. Now, if you eat high protein food, that's going to obviously help because protein is very tough to digest, and so your body has to expend more calories to digest it. So the summation of all of these three different variables, BMR, NEAT, and TEF, is what contributes to metabolism. So I want you to think of each of these three pillars as lights. Now, if each of them are glowing very dimly, that's a sign of slow metabolism. So especially if you do a lot of crash dieting, a lot of intermittent fasting, focusing on eating very little food in a day mainly, or keto, or just low carb in general, then you will notice that all three of these lights are getting dimmer and dimmer and dimmer. So it might feel like you're eating lesser than ever before just to see the number drop on the scale, but you also don't feel very good. You don't feel vital. You don't feel like you have this boundless amount of energy to do whatever you want, and rather something is kind of capping you. And some women also report brain fog as a very early symptom of slow metabolism, where they're like, it's 10 a.m., but I'm just not attentive in the meeting. I don't know what's going on. I had my coffee, I had my breakfast, but I'm still not attentive. And these are some of the ripple effects of a slow metabolism that we see. So over time, with slow metabolism, your body adapts into what we call as a survival mode, where it's kind of exactly fighting for survival. So your body learns to, run on less calories. And how this affects your hormones is your leptin goes down, your cortisol goes up, and your thyroid goes down. So slow metabolism is basically your body adjusting to lack of fuel, lack of nutrients. And it's basically saying that, okay, because I don't have enough energy, let's not go out and get a walk in even though it's a sunny day. I just want you to know that it's not discipline. It's not that, you're not a peppy person. It's just that the way our hormones behave inside us governs a lot about how we feel and what we do with our time. So now that I've introduced a little bit of what low carb does to your hormones, let's dive deep specifically into the thyroid hormone, one of the most important hormones in the body that gets significantly impacted when you go on a low carb diet. But for me to really walk you through how and why this impact is so deep, we need to first understand why you need to care about this hormone, right? Thyroid determines the pace at which your body burns fat.